Hello everybody, my name is Antonio Piretti and this video is for all the people that are willing or thinking to race for the first time full Ironman, and I can just explain my experience that is a positive experience to encourage them to do it. Okay, I met so many people in my life that were telling me, oh, you are doing super adventures, I couldn't make it, or oh my god, no, it's not true. If you want to do it, you can do it. And let's proceed step by step. First of all, what usually is scaring the people the most are the distances of this race. The full Ironman is 3.8 kilometers swimming, 180 kilometers on the bicycle, and a complete marathon of 42.2 kilometers running. Of course, if you consider all this distance, you say, wow. But in my opinion, the point is to consider the time that you have to complete the distances. So for the swim portion, you have usually 2 hours and 20 minutes. Then you have to change yourself and start your bike portion. You have more or less 9 hours and 30 minutes to complete the swim and the bicycle portion. So if you have 2 hours and 20 minutes for swimming, let's consider a little bit for transition time. You have more or less 7 hours to complete 180 kilometers. If you do the calculation, basically you have to keep a pace around 26 kilometers per hour. That is not impossible, okay? Plus the running, that was, for example, my weak point. If you check, you have more or less, for example, in Hamburg, 15 hours and 30 minutes to complete the whole Ironman. Usually this time is a little bit longer in other races. The average I read online is 17 hours. However, let's stay with the time that I faced in Germany, in Hamburg. So you have basically 15 hours and 30 minutes to complete the global race. If the previous cutoff time for the bicycle was 9 hours and 30 minutes, it means you have 6 hours, more or less 6 hours to complete your marathon. It means that basically if you keep an average around 7 kilometers per hour, or of course a little bit more, you can still be on time. What I want to say is, when I understood for the first time what exactly was an Ironman, my first try was to cover, for example, just walking fast half of a marathon. And then what I did is I went out, I walked very fast for 3 hours, and with my phone, with my watch, I was checking all the time my pace, and I made it. I mean, I covered more than 21 kilometers in 3 hours. So when you consider, for example, the marathon, you don't have to think I have to run for 42 kilometers, 0.2. You have to face this as I have to complete 42 kilometers, 0.2 in the time that I have, into the cutoff time. That is very different, because if I have to think myself to run for 42 kilometers, I would say, no, it doesn't work. But for example, you can run as long as you feel okay, then you start in a progression to walk, for example, 100 meters, and then you can run 900. And this you keep on as long as you are still okay. Then, for example, you can reduce. You can walk 100 meters and run for 400. so you are splitting always the distance. What I want to say is not focus your attention on the distance, but to focus your attention on the time. So consider yourself when you are training, you can try whatever to get the average that you have to keep on the bicycle, on the running portion, or on the swimming part, and see yourself in that average. If you can somehow easily keep that average, that is the limit, then you can make it. Let's say another aspect regarding the Ironman that I think is important is the time. When you say, okay, I'm going to register myself for an Ironman, it's not just the race, but for the most is the training. You can say I started to train at least, 9 months before, even if my shape was already quite okay, I can say. But what I was doing with my body was keeping basically 1 hour per day at the beginning, trying of course different types of workout, bicycle, cyclette, running of course, sometimes weight exercises, and of course swimming pool, no? But at the beginning I was training 1 hour per day, okay? But when you are, for example, 3 months or 2 months, 3 I can say, 3 months to the race, then you have to start for real to add hours. At least that's what I was doing. I was on the bicycle for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours sometimes. That can be a kind of peak. Basically, I was trying to teach my body to be active for more hours every day. This is my experience, but I did a couple of very particular tours with the bicycle. I did a coast to coast in Canada and a particular tour on Europe with a bicycle. I was pulling a cart. I was on the bicycle all the time for around 5-6 hours per day as average. And I can tell you, even if your mind can be super worried about the distance, if you are trained enough to keep your body active for a certain number of hours, you can make it. Of course, I'm not saying that I was competing for the first position. No, usually when you do an Ironman, it's a kind of challenge with yourself. It's not, you are not competing against other people. The pro athletes, of course, they have to win, but who is amateur, who is normal person, like me, for example, is just a challenge with yourself. And my goal was to finish the race, and I did in both of the cases. Another aspect that, in my opinion, is important to consider, the time that you need to train, because you are not dedicating this time to your family or to your friends or to what you want to do. The last point that I would like to say is the money aspect. To register for an Ironman, at least in Hamburg, I go on memory, it was around 770 euro when I registered myself, including the engravel of the medal, the pictures, and it depends when you are registering yourself. If you register yourself at the beginning, you have a kind of discount. Then in a progression way, you pay a little bit more. But it will be between 600 and 700, more or less. Plus, you have to consider to buy, for example, the gear that you need for the race. Let's say, for example, the wetsuit. I found a very, very good wetsuit, and it's called Sailfish. That cost me 770, I think. Euro, bought new collection 2021, and I'm still using that wetsuit also now, so at least you can amortize the payment. Then consider, for example, what you need for the bicycle. The bicycle, the prices are crazy. Personally, I'm using a normal road bicycle. I changed all the parts of the bicycle. I changed, for example, the tires, I changed the chain, the front and the back gears. Regarding what you can pay for a bicycle, it's up to you. But the prices for a triathlon bicycle, they are quite high. So it's not to have a bicycle, it's to have the bicycle that is correct for you. This is the main point. When you decide to do an Ironman, focus on what you can keep as average in your swimming, in your biking, in your running. Consider the time that you have to dedicate, and I can suggest at least 1 hour per day. And then when you are closer to the race, at least 1 hour and a half or 2 per day. And the weekend you can dedicate more time for the most on the bicycle. And consider the cost. The cost, because for example, I was lucky to be able to go in Hamburg in a house of the parents of my wife, so I was not paying to stay there. But if you have to add what it costs to register yourself, plus all the gears that you need, wetsuit, bicycle, running shoes, I was using the Hoka 11. I feel they are really good, but the price was, I think, 220, both in the 2021. And so what I want to say is that to run an Ironman, also the cost is something, okay? And once you have all this data in your hand, of course you can clearly make your decision. But I want to say also that the energy, the vibes that you will get along the race, they will always stay with you, and that will be a super fantastic memory, something that you can't estimate enough before. It's something that is so strong, but you can just feel and live this during the race. And then of course you will have in your mind, I don't have words to describe how beautiful is to have all these people that are cheering you up, are really pushing you when you are really receiving this. So if you would like to try, in my opinion you should, because at the end life is only one, and in the worst scenario you can fail, but I don't think that. Be prepared in many points. For example, train yourself also to change a tire on the bicycle, or you have to put attention on your nutrition. For example, I was eating an energy bar, more or less 1 energy bar every hour. There could be so many things to talk about, but I've done already 2 Ironman, and I am super happy to have done these 2 adventures, you can call, and now I am registered at the end of September in the half Ironman in Italy, just because I don't want to keep a training for all the summer to reach again a full Ironman. I want to be a little bit relaxed, and so for this I will try a half Ironman. Many people are trying the half Ironman as a preparation for their full Ironman, just to check the level of their training. I can say you can do whatever you feel. There are many distances in the triathlon races. You can just pick the one that is more convenient for you, or you feel more comfortable with, but I will go for it. If you have the desire, consider that in life, when you do a first step, already you are more than half of what you have to reach. So do it, no fears, no problem. At the end, it's something that will stay for you for all your life, and I do suggest to try it. Okay? Good for now. This is my first video. I will do more videos trying to explain in the details what does it mean to race this kind of adventure, to clear any doubts about what it will be during the race. Okay? Bye for now, and I see you. Ciao.